Namaste. Some of you already know me, and some of you have seen the videos that we used to publish, Scientific Connection, Project Geeta Scientific Connection. We took a break and we are starting this again after a break of maybe several months. In any case, welcome back to those of you who are watching these videos again. I want to introduce myself briefly. My name is Prasad Akavur. By training, I'm a scientist. I used to be a research scientist, but now I teach in a private school in New York. I teach physics, chemistry, and a little bit of engineering. I have always been interested in spirituality, and I don't think spirituality and science are mutually exclusive. With that brief introduction, I want to focus on what we're going to talk about today. So some of you, again, as I said before, already know that these videos are about Project Geeta and the messages therein, which can help us lead a very happy, successful life. As someone said, the Bhagavad Gita is a manual for correct, optimal living. That is absolutely true in my experience. So in this time of uncertainties and anxiety over what's going to happen with the coronavirus pandemic, I thought I would focus on a couple of things that chapter 6 mentions. These are extremely important in terms of our overall health and mental stability. So let's get right to it. I'm going to share the screen with you. It's a PowerPoint presentation. So when you're done watching this, you can go back and look at some of the references that I mentioned very carefully. So here goes. So that's my title page, Project Geeta Scientific Connection. And today's overview. So basically 3 things. Understand what the Gita advises in terms of our overall health. Then we're going to focus on how to explore the connection between the advice given in the Gita and immunity. Our physical immunity is extremely important in this age of coronavirus, as you can tell. Now, and I'll provide you with some resources also for further reading and learning. One thing I keep telling in my videos is that do not take anything for granted, even if I'm saying it. So we just wanted to be as honest as possible. So please do your own independent research. So chapter 6. The chapter begins with Krishna advising Arjuna about renunciation. He's saying, if you want to renunciate, there are 2 things, 2 aspects of it. First of all, you have to give up the idea of agency. What that means is, I did this, or I'm responsible for this. Take the I away from our action. And then the second aspect of it is the fruits of action. Oftentimes, we find ourselves worried, unduly, I might say, about the outcome of our action, which in fact debilitates us and then prevents us from doing the optimal work we would have been otherwise able to do. This is the crux of the Gita's advice, and it's the first chapter. Chapter 1 begins with Arjuna Vishada Yoga, and this is exactly what Arjuna went through. some kind of a debilitation because of fear and anxiety, which rendered him actionless or inactive. So healthy living, chapter 6 is all about healthy living. And two things I want to focus your attention to is meditation and moderation. And meditation by now has been established as the best tool there is to reduce anxiety of the mind. Okay, there has been a very good scientific study around that. Now, I mentioned moderation. What is moderation? What does that mean? Moderation in everything: eating, sleeping, physical exertions, and everything, you name it. Okay. So chapter 6. So how do you do that? How do you accomplish that state of mind in which you're not worried unnecessarily about the outcomes and about yourself all the time? So Krishna advises Arjuna about meditation. Now, verses 11 through 15 describe how one should sit and how one should meditate. So there's techniques of meditation. But I want to focus here for this presentation on two verses, verse 16 and verse 17. Let's read this together. Yoga is not possible. Yoga in this case means happiness and healthy living. Okay? It's not possible for someone who eats too much, nor for someone who eats too little, nor for someone who sleeps too much or sleeps too little. That is moderation right there. Okay, and I don't think even the most modern, most scientific approach can deny this advice or can negate this advice. Verse 17 is sort of a continuation of it. It elaborates a little bit further. I think yoga becomes the destroyer of pain or unhappiness or unhealth for someone who is moderate in eating and recreation, who is moderate in his or her exertion during action, and who is moderate in sleep and wakefulness. So I was curious. I just went to the Center for Disease Control website, and then I took a look at the advice that they are giving us in this time of coronavirus. Look at these things. These are direct quotes from the website, and I gave you the website up front. Please stop the video and take down the exact address. So fear and worry about your own health and the health of your loved ones, changes in sleep or eating patterns, difficulty sleeping or concentrating, worsening of chronic health problems. And the last two I highlighted in red: worsening of mental health conditions and increased use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. So the government is warning us against these things. Now, how do you avoid this is basically what you learn from studying the Gita and practicing it. It's not enough to just study intellectually. You have to practice to get any benefit from the advice given in the Gita. So what's our objective? We want to calm our minds and clear our thoughts and reduce the chance of exacerbating stress-induced conditions. For example, recently I read that high blood pressure can create really bad conditions for coronavirus patients. So one of the ways in which you can reduce high blood pressure is through meditation. Okay, so that's the connection that we are talking about. And then, of course, our objective should be to examine what we do on a daily basis and self-correct some of the practices that cause undue anxiety and stress. A more scholarly article I found online was this. I hope you can read the title there. It's called Mindfulness, Meditation, and Immune System. A scientific study was published. I think it's a government site, and I gave you the complete website here, right here. You can click on it, and I'll just mention the conclusion they came up with. So mindfulness meditation is proven to reduce inflammation by doing these things in the body. It reduces the NF-κB transcription activity and then CRP levels. You probably have to read up a little bit on what this actually means, or those of you who don't really care about the scientific details can just be rest assured that meditation does help improve our inflammation inside the body on a cellular level. And then it increases the cell-mediated immunity. And it improves the telomerase activity, which means that you age more slowly. You don't age rapidly, and with worsening health. And I also want to give you a direct quote from the same paper, from the same scholarly paper. And I'm not going to read the whole thing for you, but just direct your attention to the sentences given in red right here. So this technique that we are talking about, the meditation techniques described in the Gita, is very secular. It doesn't apply to only one religion or one sect of people. It applies to anybody. So please read this and gains a little bit more insight into what we are talking about here. You should not ever claim that meditation does wonders overnight or quickly. It's not a quick fix thing. It's not a quick fix thing at all. It takes a lot of time and patience. So it takes time for you to master the art of meditation, the science of meditation, I should say. So first you get familiar with the practices and the way in which you do it, and then get experience, and then finally you achieve mastery. That is a process. It's a process. That's one thing that here in the Project Geeta organization that we are very, very particular about. We don't spread false claims that, hey, meditation is the answer for everything. No. We are not saying that. Meditation has clear advantages, and these are the advantages that are established through scientific studies. Okay. Again, in this era of coronavirus, everyone is homebound. So am I. I work from home. So, this is a great opportunity. Find a fixed amount of time every day for practice. And then, as I said before, do your independent research, learn and apply what you learn to your everyday life. One thing I want to say, which chapters, verses 16 and 17 talk about, is food. What kind of food do you eat? There's a clear description of what kind of food you must eat in chapter 6. All I will say is this. If you look at the meat industry right now, we see that animal husbandry, like excessive, massive scale, massive use of meat and animal products, is probably the leading cause of many of the diseases known to human beings. Look at coronavirus, or the swine flu, or SARS, or anything. All these infectious diseases have their origin in animals. Usually, the species or cross species, in other words, viruses don't cross over species that much. But in this case, in the coronavirus case, unfortunately, it happened. But think about our practices as human beings. I want to say one thing: in Project Geeta or Project Self, we don't ever advocate any sort of um, diet. We cannot say, hey, if you eat meat, your spiritual growth is not going to happen. That's not true. It's not about eating meat or eating any of the animal product. It's about where that product is coming from, and under what conditions are the animals kept and killed, and what happens afterwards. How does how do some of the diseases spread across species? Think about that. I'll give you some references at the end. So, for example, Mind Over Medicine. Dr. Lisa Rankin has done pioneering work. It's amazing the way she talks. You can catch her on YouTube as well. And then I would urge you to check out two documentaries that I found extremely powerful. And I learned a lot that I hadn't known before. What the Health and The Game Changer. Both are excellent. They're documentaries based on scientific studies. Now, there's another article here, How Mindfulness Training Can Boost Your Immune System. So I hope you will take this chapter 6 of the Gita seriously, and then pay attention to the advice given in there. Read it carefully, study. If you don't understand something, please ask someone, or use your common sense to interpret the verses, and then apply that knowledge to your daily life. So I hope everyone will stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.